Richard, and welcome back to Howtomakeadesignerhandbag.com. Today we're going to be starting our new bag. This is going to be our basic shape here. I've already cut it out. It's a pretty interesting shape, and so we're going to go from there. This particular bag here is going to have a couple outside zipper pockets. A lot of people have asked me to do some outside zipper pockets on the bag, and also we're going to have a zippered gusset to close up our bag that's going to go around the bag up until these points. Now this is my master front and back. I've already done, and I've laid out my zippers. I'm going to have this is where my two outside pockets are going to be. These are going to be 7-inch zippers. I also have indicated where my straps are going to come out. These straps will probably be about 18, maybe 19 inches. So we have a nice loop to go over the shoulder. Now, in the master front and back, what you need to do is that your gusset that's going to go around here is going to be in two parts. The bottom, there's a bottom part, which is going to take up this area here, and then there's the top part of your gusset, which is where your zipper is going to go in. So to make sure that we're going to be able to do this, we need to divide our gusset into two parts. Now, the very first part the very first thing you want to determine is where you want your zipper to stop. And wherever you want your zipper to stop, you measure down, you pin, and then you notch. And this is where your zipper will stop. And this is also where your gusset will divide. Okay? So that's what you want to do there. And then of course you measure how you want your pockets, where you want your pockets to go, if you want outside pockets. And then you just go ahead and fold, pin, and you have your placement for your pockets. And remember, as always, the master is the final size that your bag is going to be. You're going to use your master to cut your stays and things of that nature. So this is your final product. This is going to be your final size. So wherever your placement is on here is where it's going to be on your bag. So when you have your strap here, you have an end placement, you have where it starts, where it ends. And so that way, if you were doing production, you'd do it the exact same way every time in the same place. So you want to mark that out, where those things are going to end and where they may begin. Okay? So you want to go ahead and do your master. And then when we go do our master, after we do our master, we're going to go ahead and measure out for our gusset. And since we're going to do our gusset in two parts, when we measure, we're going to start right here in the center fold and measure to that notch where you made that you said you wanted your zipper to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of pattern paper, and the next thing we're going to do is measure out the two pieces for our gusset. Okay, I got me, you know, you can do your gusset a lot of different ways, and I'm sure that everyone that knows how to make handbag patterns do these things in a slightly different way than they were taught. And I do mine in a slightly different way than I was taught. And normally what you might want to do if you have a big space to work in, you can kind of determine what your gusset, the size of your gusset is going to be, and cut your pattern paper appropriately. If it's going to be 4 inches wide, then you cut it 5 or 6 so that you have some extra to work, and then you cut, and you can do it that way. But I like to do it with just a strip. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and score my strip. Okay. Score that and get myself a straight edge to work with. And if you've done a class, And if you're trying to do this leather bag here that I'm doing, I hope that you would have done a beginner class or something so that you know how to do this on your own. When I say make a straight edge, you'll know what to do. Okay, now we got our straight edge here. Now what I want to do is take my master pattern that I've done, and what I want to do is line that up, that notch that I made. I want to line that notch up, center it, even it out on my straight edge there. I'm going to take my awl and pin, trying to keep it in place, and as I do that, I'm going to swing my pattern. And I want to make sure that as I swing my pattern, I keep everything flush with this straight edge. I don't want my pattern to go over the top of the straight edge that I have here. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue to walk the pattern to my notch to get a measurement. And this is key to trying to get the fit proper. Okay, we're almost there. Continue to walk it, and at some point it will just kind of straighten out. And here we go. And then when you get there, you just go ahead and pin. And that's your measurement. Now I go ahead and unfold. No, I'm going to unfold. Let's go ahead and measure to your pin. And in this particular case, that's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 and 5/8. So that'll be 8 and 5/8. And you're going to double this times 2, and you're going to get your measurement from here to here. And that's going to be the first piece of your gusset. So I need to go ahead and cut another piece of pattern paper, and I'll be right back. And so I need to make my, I want my gusset to be 3 inches in the middle. So I measured down 4, and I want it to be 4. The widest point is 4 inches. So I wanted to. So I'm going to measure down 4 inches, and I want the middle here to be 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is measure down 4. I'm going to pin. I'm going to come up a 1/2 inch, pin. I'm going to go to the top and come down a 1/2 inch and pin. And between those 2 pins should be 3 inches is what it is. Then I'm going to go here and go up to my top and cut. I could have unfolded and cut, but I'll do it on this one. I'll do it this way. You guys will get it. And then I'm going to go here. And cut. I'm going to go here. And cut. Now, what I also want to do is take my 4 inches, and I'm going to pin in the middle 2 inches, because this is where my zipper is going to go. So I'll go ahead and do this through the middle. And that's where my zipper is going to go in my gusset. Now, this is where my gusset, this part of the gusset is going to meet the bottom part of the gusset. So I want my zipper to have, don't want to use my other, the bottom gusset as my zipper stop. So I kind of want to go up maybe 3/4 of an inch. Maybe just make it an inch. You know, then we can have a happy bag. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and pin there, and then I'm going to make a little window, and I want this to be, since this is my top gusset, I want this window and the zipper to be kind of a heavy, I wanted to have a good space to go up and down, because you're going to be using it all the time. So I don't want the material to be too close to the zipper. So I'm going to make this 1/4 inch here, and then a 1/4 inch there, and that's going to give me a 1/2 inch. Okay, now I'm going to draw this out for you so you can see how this, and this gusset here is going to be your master gusset, your top master. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and there we go. And this is where your, oh, didn't go all the way across here. This is where your zipper is going to sit in the top of your bag. And this is where it's going to stop. Okay? And like you can put, I guess if you wanted to, you could put something over this to kind of hide it if you wanted to. You do have a number of different options, but what we wanted was 3 inches in the middle at the top, and that's what we have. And the rest of the bag is 4 inches. Okay, and so what we have to do now is measure. Now that we have that, and I want you to go ahead and name them before we go on. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go cut 1. This is our master. Zipper, top, gusset, and then of course you got your cut 1. And of course you got your cut 1, sorry about that. And then that's done. Now, what you're going to do next is measure from here to here. Okay? And that's what you need to do. And we're going to go ahead and walk the same way we walk the gusset from here to here. We now need to walk the gusset from here to here. And that's going to complete the bottom piece. That's going to go all the way around. Okay? And this is going to be our top piece, and this is going to be our bottom piece. And we're going to go ahead and cut some more pattern paper and do that next. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is our bottom gusset. And so what we're going to do is just go ahead and take our pattern, line it up with our center notch, and start to walk our pattern again. And the next, after we finish walking, got to keep that awl right on the tip. Oops, let me start again. Okay. And swing. Swing. Come back a little bit. Swing. 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 Yep. keep doing that until you pin. And that's your distance. So now we have our distance. We're going to go ahead and measure this, and then we're going to repeat what we did when we made this particular gusset. Okay, I'm just finishing up the bottom gusset, and this is just a 4-inch wide piece, and so I measured my 4 inches. I straightened my top edge, measured out my 4-inch thickness here. This is going to be the width of my gusset, and I went on and measured out my length. We had already walked it and knew it was the 11 and 5/16. So what we've done here is we've gone on over. We're going to go 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 11 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5/16. We're going to pin, and now we're just going to go ahead and cut this off. And this is going to be the second part of the gusset. Okay. And then we're just going to go ahead and name it. This is our bottom gusset. This is our master. And we're going to cut one of these. Okay. And that's all we need there. And that's it. So what we have now is we have our 2 gussets. Okay, and that's fitting. So this is our gusset, the top and the bottom, with our window for where our zipper is going to go. And we know that's about a 15th and about 15th and a quarter zipper there. We're also going to need a we got that, and we got our master front and back, and we need a 7-inch. We're going to need a 7-inch zipper, because we're thinking of putting 2 zippers on the outside of our pocket, outside of our bag, because a number of you have asked to see how that's done. So we're going to do that. I don't know if we're going to put 2 different type of pockets here, or just one, but probably just slip-in pockets. And so what we need to do now is just to go ahead and make a window, 2 7-inch windows. And I already have, I think, a 7-inch window cut out that may work for me. And what happens is, once you cut out your windows, you always save them. Like when you get dies made for your bags, you always save them because there's parts you can interchange. But these windows are a little too long, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a new 7-inch window. Oh, maybe here's one right here, maybe. Here's one right here, a 7-inch window. Okay, so if you don't know how a window is made, what I'm going to do is just go over it real quick here. Let me get some of these pieces out of the way. And so after I've cross-scored it, I need to make my window. Let's see, it's going to be a 7, so I want to know where 7 is first, because that's the inside I'm looking at. And then I want to have a 1/2 inch inside. Well, not necessarily a 1/2 inch. I'm gonna make it I'll make it a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch inside. Okay. Then I'm gonna do it like that. Okay, so there's the other one right here. Okay. And then I'm going to draw draw this out. Okay, that's my window. Then I'm gonna put a little. I'm gonna go out 1/4 inch and go down 1/4 inch. And this is going to be my border for the window. And now I'm going to cut. And cut again. And I have my window. There you go. That's your window. 7 inches inside the middle. And then when you cut your fabric, it'll look a little bit like that. And then you'll fold these edges over and under. And you'll split down the middle. Like this. Okay, and that's how your window is going to look. And that's how you make it. Square up your paper to make sure that it's perfectly symmetrical. Draw it in, and that's going to be your pattern. Don't forget to go ahead and name it and notch it if you need to for placement purposes or something to that effect. And there you go. And that's your window. I'm going to cut 2. No, cut 4 because we're going to have inside pocket inside pockets. So cut 4, and that way you have your zipper stay. Okay, that's it. Now we just finished up making our 7-inch window, and oops. And Linda likes to keep hers like that, but they come out the same. Okay, now we have already made our master pattern. There are 3 pieces to it. There is our top gusset, our bottom gusset. There's 4 pieces, and then our strap stay, which is 18 inches long and 3/4 inch wide. And we're going to cut 4 of these because we're going to be making 2 straps. And they're going to be about 1/8 inch apart. You're going to set these, after you've cut your stay, you're going to set it down, glue them in place about 1/8 inch apart. So that's, you're going to cut 4 of those. Okay, so this is our master pattern, and also you got your window. This is going to go here for your zippers. And now the only thing that we haven't made actually, and I better go ahead and make that, is we've decided that we didn't want these zippers to show and spoil the look of the bag. So we're going to be putting some little flaps over that, and when I come back, we'll go ahead and make that little piece there. But in the meantime, this is your master pattern, the exact size that your bag is going to be, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to it. That's what you should have, plus your window stays. Here's your outside pattern. It's 3/8 inch larger than your master. And here are your pattern pieces for that. Okay, and let's go ahead and let me show you what I mean. 3/8 inch larger than your master all the way around. If you were using fabric to make this bag, you'd probably want to use 1/2 inch, but we're using leather, so 3/8 inch is just going to be fine. Now, with that being done, that's your outside pattern. And the next pattern you need to do is your lining pattern. And again, if you've taken at least the beginner's course with me, then you know that your lining pattern is 1/16 smaller than your outside pattern. And so here you see your lining pattern. Now here's the thing, your lining is probably your most important piece here. Now we also are going to have pockets in our lining pattern, and so you want to make a 7-inch pocket here. If you want to do anything else in your lining, you're going to indicate it on your pattern and go from there. Now in this particular bag, you want to have all your lining materials together kind of first, because it's probably one of the first steps you need to do is just to go ahead and put the lining in place, get the lining done so that you'll be able to attach it to your top gusset piece when it's ready. So anyway, those are our pattern pieces. We still have one more to go, as I said. I'll come back and we'll do that one, and that'll finish up with the pattern, and we can start to cut our leather and start to prep it to put the bag together.
Hi, this is Linda. I'm going to just take you through the lining of our leather bag. And I have the fabric I love to use for our linings is bengaline. And we just found a really nice source online called tutu.com, tutu.com. And they have bengaline in every different color, so it's really, really a great source. And the reason I like to use bengaline is because it is really strong. And see, it's very strong, and it also, when you cut it, it doesn't fray so much, so it's really nice to work with. Also, when you do a little bit of rubber cementing, if you do the light rubber cement on it, it won't bleed too bad through here. I mean, you have to be careful still because it could bleed through, but it's really durable fabric. Okay, so I chose the steel gray for my leather bag, and I've cut out the pieces, the basic pieces. Those are the front and back. This is the bottom gusset, and this is the top gusset, and this is going to be the pocket. I'm going to have one inside pocket, and here's my pattern to show you. This is where the pocket will be. I have indicated that. And on the top gusset, this is where the zipper will go, because what I like to do is actually attach the zipper to the lining part of the gusset first, and then I will be sewing that to the leather gusset, and then assemble it, and then the next step would be to do my pocket, and there's a little window stay that goes in here. And then I will show you how we sew that together, and that's the beginning of making the lining. Okay, I have the pieces of lining here, and I'm going to show you how this goes. I actually have already done the window for this lining pocket. It's one of these type of stay windows, and I glued it and turned it, cut in the middle and then turned it. You have to be very careful to not put the rubber cement too heavy, or else it does bleed through this fabric. But bengaline works really good because it doesn't bleed so much. Okay, so the pocket for this will have, this is the actual pocket, and I'm going to, it's a zipper pocket, so this will be attached here with a stitch. And as in there's another video on how to do pockets in a previous video, and you can look at that. But on this, you do sew right here up to this, for this little pocket piece, and then this will be attached here. You flip this back, sew the bottom stitch first across the bottom, and then you'll flip the back piece up, and then you'll sew the rest of the way around. Okay, so that's that part of it. And then the top gusset, I've already put some rubber cement here, and I rubber cemented the stay, and I marked where it should go. So I'm going to put that on there. Okay, and then I have to do some more gluing here. So I glue to turn this material around the stay for the zipper closure. Kind of pretty light because, as I said, it can bleed through. Okay, and this is got to dry, and then I'm going to be turning this, and this will be the bottom part of the gusset, which will attach to here, and then when you've after we cut this and turn it, then we attach this to the leather, and I'll be showing you that next. Okay. Okay, this is the top of the gusset and the lining, and I glued my window on here. I'm just turning the fabric over the stay of the window. Okay. And then the next step will be actually to attach it to the leather part of the gusset. Okay, I'm just finishing turning this. My glue's coming up a little bit, but that's okay because I'm going to be attaching the zipper, and so it won't take too long to be on there. But I'm going to put that on, attach the zipper. Actually, since this is a lining, this part of it goes to here, and then I'll sew around over here, and then I'm going to attach it to the leather part, and I'll be cutting this out and turning this over a stay also, and then attaching it to this leather, but this will be cut. I'll be right back. Okay, on this, I'm working on the pocket of the lining, and what I did is first I attached the zipper to this pocket, and then I sewed up to at this point on this part of the pocket because this will be loose, and then the next step is to sew the bottom seam to this pocket right here, and then after I sew that bottom seam I flip it up, see, because I'll have sewn it like that, and then I flip it up and sew the rest of that seam, and I'll be doing that right next. And I also, while I'm over there, I'm going to sew the zipper to the lining piece. Okay, and okay, I'm just finishing sewing the gusset leather part to the lining. Trying to make sure the zipper doesn't get stuck. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I have sewn this on my machine, the leather to the lining part on the top of the gusset. So now we're going to put together the rest of the lining. It really helps to kind of make sure everything fits before you sew everything together. We were going to put a little bit of, we sometimes do this technique where we put a little glue here, a little rubber cement, or you can pin the pieces together, and this will go like this. Actually, you can use clamps also. And these will go together like so. And then, so you do this to both of these sides here. And so this will be loose, this leather part. So that will, so because the sequence is, then you'll sew these two pieces across, and then this gets sewn to the front and back. So you start with one side or the other, and then what you have to do is also leave one side open, like probably maybe the long side here, so that, because what you're going to do is when you're sewing the leather part, you're sewing it inside out, and then you're going to turn it around, and so you'll have a hole to get through the bag to the other side. So and so basically Richard's going to take it over from here, because I always do most of the lining part of it, and so he'll be taking it over from here. Okay.
Okay, everyone, I'm back, and I'm going to go ahead and take over the rest of this class. And I just want to go ahead and quickly go over where we're at. Linda showed you basically attaching the leather to the top of your lining gusset. There's the top piece of your lining gusset. The top piece of your leather gusset to the top piece of your lining gusset is what I intended to say. So we've seen that part, and now we went and did our sewing. We attached one side for you here already. We just sewed around the edges here, and first we fitted it, and I usually fit Linda pins. I use a little rubber cement and tack it in place to see if it's going to fit properly. And once it did, we went on and to basically go ahead and sewed it in. And so at this point, what we have is, this is the inside now of our bag, as you can see. So it's now finished. It's finished here on the edges. It's finished here in the seam, and we now have the inside of our bag. And now what we want to do here, we want to leave this part right here open, and because what we're going to do is, when we sew the outside of the bag, we're going to flip it inside out, and it's going to kind of go like this. Kind of going to sew the leather this way, and then we're going to flip the whole thing in, and then we'll like maybe just hand tack our lining close. We'll go ahead and sew it, and then there'll be like a little part that we won't be able to sew, and we'll just kind of tack that in and finish it. And so that's where we are. You can put your label in at this point. We have our zipper pocket in at this point. And so we're pretty much ready to put this bag together. Okay? Alright, so we're going to do some skiving, get our rest of our pieces together, get our handles together, and we're going to come back and start to put this back together. Okay, I'm getting ready to do my straps, and I've cut out my strap stays. They're about 5/16 thick, and so they're going to make a pretty nice strap. And so the next thing, this is some 014 Bontex paper. And I'm going to do a tutorial on Bontex because this stuff is really great. You can soak this stuff in water in the same way that it is now, the same strength, the same body that it has now. That's what it's going to have when it comes out of the water. So anyway, that's my my stays for my straps. And because this is leather, I want to get a nice turn, and I want it nice and thin. So I'm going to have to go ahead and skive this, and I have a home method of skiving because I don't have a room for a 300 pound skiving machine or 200-pound skiving machine. So I use a little $35 Dremel tool, a little sander, and my an old vacuum cleaner. And so I'm going to skive this for you real quick just to show you how I do it. And then I'm going to do my other pieces, and we'll go from there. It's a little noisy, but it works. And all you're trying to do is keep that dust down with the vacuum cleaner. Go along the edges and thin them out. But you want to make sure that you don't go through the leather when you're doing this. And you can see the difference in the leather from the skiving, and here is going to be easier to fold. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll glue up our straps and sew them up. Okay, we're gluing I've skived the leather here for the straps, and so we're just going to go ahead and glue these and glue them. I'm using rubber cement. I don't need a permanent hole. I just need it to stay in place until I sew it. And I guess if I had a professional shop, I'd have feet from my machine that would do this folding for me, but I'm just a little guy. And so we're doing this, and when this dries, we're going to go ahead and put down our stays. I'm already gluing those, and they're drying, so we're going to do that, and as soon as this is finished drying, we'll put down our stays. Okay. We've glued our strap here, and we're just going to put down our stays. And when you're putting down your stays, what you want to do is make sure that you have enough space in between the stays. They can't be close together like this. They have to be, pull this up, they have to be, I could have actually made my outside material a little wider, but I can get it done. So I'm just gonna put that down as evenly as I can and still go a little distance. And the good thing about rubber cement is that you can do this resetting and pulling it up and resetting it without an issue. Sometimes I'll use the 3M spray glue that you can buy at Home Depot or wherever, hardware store or wherever. Okay, so what I want to do here is just point out, I can find my awl, is that you want about a 1/8 inch gap between your stays here. And then after you do that, let me find my trusty butter knife. Here it is. I use a butter knife because it's long and I like it. And then we go ahead up. I got to glue this. Let me glue this. I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to turn it and then sew that strap. Actually, I do have one that's already been turned and sewn, and as you can see, it came out pretty nice. Now I could sew this edge here, but on this particular one I decided I'm not, and that's pretty much how our handle is going to be. And we can start to see how our bag is going to come together. And I'll do it this way so you guys can get a better view of it. And so it's going to go this way here on the opposite. I can get it in there. Okay, so we're going to get it like that. That's going to go like this. Okay. And then there's going to be a flap that comes over this. And then our handle is going to sit something like this. And so you can see how that's going to look. Hopefully it's all in the camera. Okay. All right. And we'll get this other strap sewn, and we'll start to put our gusset together. Okay. We've sewn our gusset to our top gusset, our bottom gusset to our top gusset, and I put a little glue right here so that I can take this and pound these down ever so lightly here. Ouch. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch across here and tighten that up. We still have our opening here to flip our bag inside and out. I've also put welting on. And you might notice here that I clipped my welting. And I didn't really clip it, I just kind of split it because my welting was so thin. And that helped it to kind of retain the shape that I wanted it to retain. And so that's doing pretty good. We also have, as I said, we put the handle on here, and we put our welting on. Now, the one thing I want to say about the welting here too is that in this particular case with leather, when you're putting this welting on, it's actually going to add a little thickness to your pattern, to your piece here. And so what happens is it makes your gusset, your overall gusset, a little short. So what I did, I went ahead and compensated for that by adding a 1/4 inch, about a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of it. No, say more like a 3/8 of an inch more because of the thickness of this. 3/8 maybe to a 1/2 inch more because of the thickness of this. So you want to be able to, or a 1/4 inch. So you want to be able to do that. 3/8 to a 1/4 inch when you're using leather, because it's going to add thickness and it'll make your gusset come up short. I've also made an applique to go over my strap here. So I'm going to do it, I'm going to put it like that. I'll make 4 of these and put it like that and just sew across and get that down. And then that'll cover my work. So that should work out. I could have did a few things different, as I said, to make it a little bit better. And usually when you're making a bag the first time, you always discover that if you move something down to 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch, it looks and works out and sews better. So these things are a natural progression of the process. So that's why they call it a first sample. And usually it's your second or third sample that actually gets to market. So we're going to go ahead and attach our appliques to our handles, and we're also going to go ahead and start to sew our gusset on. And I'm going to go ahead and prep for that, and as soon as I'm ready, we'll get back to it. Okay, I want to go ahead and start to cut my leather, but just to give you guys a little insight into cutting your leather, like this is a kind of a big piece of leather, but you end up with a lot of waste with leather, like 30%. And the reason that you end up with a lot of waste like that is because of how you have to manage your bag. And what I mean by that is that, like, when you have this detail right here, the back of the high ridges of your crock coming through the middle of your bag, you want to keep that all the way through. So what you would do is, here's your first piece, and then you would go, okay, here's the top of my gusset, so I want it to go like here and here, and then you'll go on the other side. This will be your other piece, and then of course you get the bottom of your gusset with a piece down here at the bottom. So you really want to think about, and you have to lay out your bag on your, well, okay, that was a sneeze. So what I was going to say is, you know, you want to keep everything in line. Then you'll get your straps from over here and your other little pieces from over on the little scrap areas that you have left over. But you really do want to keep the bag laid out properly so that everything lines up and it looks like that's the way you planned it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut out our pieces and be right back. What I wanted to do is, a lot of times when you have leather and you want to cut it out, you really want to mark it from the top rather than the back, so that you can catch any imperfections. You don't want to cut a piece of leather and find out that there was a small hole or something there. So you really kind of want to cut it from the front. And you don't want to use a regular ink pen, because if you make a mistake, it won't come off. So what you can do is you can get one of these silver pens that I got from Ward and Kennedy, and I have that resource on my resource page. And what you can do is you use these, and then you can take a nice leather like this and go like that. And then you can come back with your finger and you can get it all off just by doing that. And that's the advantage of using a silver pen when you are marking out your leather. And this way you can make sure that when you do cut your leather, you got the cut that you want, and it'll lessen your waste factor. Okay, just wanted to throw that at you. Okay, as you can see, I'm fitting my gusset. I sewed one side of the gusset right here, as you can see, as we talked about, and now I'm just going to go ahead and fit the other side. And I just wanted to make sure that it's going to fit before I sew it, because I don't really want to be tearing it apart. But as you can see, it's starting to come together. Now this is why I like to use my clip. See how I clip that to make sure that the bag is fitting. That way it holds it in place, and I can give it a good bird's eye check to make sure that it's proper. So I was going to put another pocket there, and then I decided not to at the last moment, so that's why it's skived out. And as you can see, I got my marks where everything lines up to a point where I measure at. See, this is where my notches were when I first did my pattern. So now my notches are helping me line the bag so that when I do sew it, it's going to be symmetrical. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and sew this, and we're going to see how that looks. Okay, here's our bag coming along here. I'm going to re-sew in here. I could get a little tighter. And overall, though, it's looking good. What do you guys think? Huh? Overall, huh? Looks like I forgot to put some cord in that welting there. Not that I forgot it, but I might have sewn over it or flattened it somehow. But anyway, this is our bag. And it's a really easy bag to make. You can make this with a flatbed. So there's no issues there. And so we got the other half to do. And we'll be finished. And this bag will be finished. There you go. Okay. Alright, now I'm fitted my other side here. And as you can see, it's fitting pretty well. As I said, when you're doing the leather, you want to try to compensate for that welting a little bit. And like I said, I did maybe like 3/8 to 1/4 of an inch. I mean, a little bit bigger, I guess, if you need it. It depends on how thick your welting is going to be. So that's fitting really good. And now my lining is now inside like this, and it has an opening. So when I turn the bag, I'll turn it through, and then it'll be the right side. The pocket, you see this masking tape. Sometimes if my glue is not really holding, or I want something in a certain position, I'll use some masking tape to keep it in place, and you just leave it there. You have to take it out. If anything, it adds something to the bag, I guess. So that's about it. And so I'm ready to sew this. And you can sew this bag, believe it or not. You can sew this bag quite easily on a flatbed because it's turned inside out. And so you can kind of lay these flat and just go ahead and do it. And I'm just using my cylinder just because it's easier. But I learned how to do all of these on a flatbed, so I know for a fact that this is a quite easy bag to make on your flatbed. You should have no issues with it at all. So that's where we're at here. So I'm going to just go ahead and sew this. I don't think you need me to show you how to sew around here. And all we're going to be doing is just sewing right here, right along our seam here. And so I'm going to go ahead and get that over with, and then we'll have a look at our bag. Alright, I've just sewn this in, and my stitching was real good. I did this on my cylinder just because it was going to be easier, and I just felt like whipping it out really quick. So now what we have to do, remember we left our lining open, so what we're going to do now is just take the bag, and the lining is open, and we're going to flip the whole thing. We've already put you got to be careful not to rip your stuff as you're turning it. Turn it more careful than I am. But I like to turn it as quickly as I can and get it so that it doesn't get too bad. And you put your hair dryer to it. If it was not a croc or an embossed leather and something just flat and it got some wrinkles in it, you put your hair dryer to it. And you do it there. And so that's it. That's the bag. And then we turn this in, and as you can see at this point, our lining is in. And all we have to do is go down here at the bottom. Probably could have left a little less open. Well, we're just going to go down here at the bottom, and we'll turn these edges in, and we'll finish the bag off, and that'll be it. Okay, and that's it. Just sew that up, turn it in, sew it up, give it a little stitch, and you got it. Okay, and that's it. That's the end of the bag. So we'll get it all out. Push out our welting. Get all our edges crisp. A little zipper tab. And that's the bag for Mom. How about that? Hopefully Mom will like it. From her baby boy. Okay, there we go. That's our bag. That's the end of our tutorial. Hope you like it. Leave comments. Talk to you later.